Hello everyone, welcome back to more Let's Play the Red String of Fate, Aaron's Route. So last time we went to a party! Aaron got drunk and did stupid shit, cause that's what stupid teenagers do. But anyway, here we are at Aaron's house, and here's a look. I can't remember where we last left off, it's actually been a few days, so... But let us continue on with our story, shall we? Finally, these are the resources we used. Any questions? I look up expectantly at our crowd, but the stuffed animals before us say nothing. They don't even clap, the darn things. There's a beat of silence before Aaron moves to the front of us and high-fives us. That was amazing! We're going to ace this presentation! I hope so. 60%. I still can't get over that. It's a good thing we're doing so well. We're finally done, too! Well, we still have the official presentation left. Hopefully we don't mess it up. If we do half as well as we've done the last 5 times we practice, I don't see how the professor could give us anything less than A++. The corner of Luke's mouth quirks up into an amused smile. Ever the optimist. You know you love me for it. With a straight face, Luke deadpans. Please don't. Aaron pouts at Luke's rejection, and I let out a laugh at the familiar exchange between them. I should probably get going. Already? Aw, is it because of me? I'm late to take back my words, you know. That too, but I have an essay due tomorrow for a different class. It'd be nice to say, but I can't. Sucks to hear. Good luck, Luke. Yeah, good luck. Talk to you tomorrow. Luke nods curtly before leaving the room, and I look down at my own watch. As for me, I could stay another half hour or so if you're willing to tolerate me. Tolerate you? Aaron gasps in mock surprise. Please, I'd be honored. I roll my eyes, softly pushing him. What are you doing afterwards? Work, of course. My life can be summed up using 2 words, work and school. At the library? I thought it was closed after 5 on Sundays. Oh no, not there, at the Chinese restaurant on State Street. 2 jobs, huh? I giggle, shaking my head, almost proud. 4, actually. Aaron freezes, and I wave my hand in his face after another moment of no response from him, trying to grab his attention. Did I mishear you? Depends. Don't die on me, Aaron. It takes another long moment before he blinks at me and resumes speaking. 4? How much do you work for each of them? 5 hours? 10? How about 20? Jesus Christ. Come on, Aaron, it's not that bad. Sounds like you're a bit of a workaholic. Besides, I may technically have 4 part-time jobs, but 2 of them have relatively less workload. How many credits are you taking? 15. Just the right number for a on-time graduation. Come on, Aaron. You could say more than just, Do you sleep? Of course I do. I don't look like a corpse to you, do I? Well, I hope not. Well, no, but why? To pay for school? I shrug, wondering what I should say. I could tell him the truth, just concealing a fact or 2 here and there, but would he even understand? Let's see, and again, choices don't matter until the last final 3. Let's say there's someone I need to find. Oh? Who? Someone important to me. Yeah, that's a given, but who? It's complicated. Aaron opens his mouth to retort, but quickly closes after seeing my expression, and I just hope I'm not scowling. At least, not scowling too much. Are they abroad, though? They've got to be if you're working 4 jobs to find them. That's the best assumption, yes. So I need the money for travel expenses. I'm not even sure where to start looking for them. I see. The curiosity is clearly burning in his eyes, but to his credit, he doesn't push further. If you ever want to tell me the details, I'm all ears. Yeah, thanks. Well, I may not understand the details, but don't work yourself too hard, okay? Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. I would never have started if I didn't think I could handle it. And it's not like I started out with all 4 jobs. I added 1 more each time I got accustomed to the workload. If you say so. Seeing him mouth something like 4 jobs in a days, I laugh. Well, I can't stop you, but I'd advise against a 5th job very strongly. Yeah, I know people work 3 jobs, but I've never heard of a person working 4 jobs, and, people who work 3 jobs have said, it sucks, so... Yeah, heavily strongly against the 5th one, too. Seriously, Aaron, don't worry. What about you? Do you work? Aaron shrugs, a sheepish grin on his face. Of course I do, but I'm average at best. Just 1 job. 20-hour work weeks, not 80. 20 hours is still a lot. Why do you work? Any lofty goals or just tuition and rent? Nah, I have a ladder covered. Scholarships and all that. It makes sense seeing as how he graduated a year early. And, well, I'm no one special when it comes to dreams. I like having extra money here and there. I need to buy important things. Like games and consoles? But, okay, fine, maybe. But that's not everything I buy, of course. I buy normal stuff too, like gas and important stuff. Do you even have a car to buy gas with? Like what? Game soundtracks. Typical. I laugh and shake my head. What about you? You can't possibly save up all your money. You do spend some of what you earn on occasion, right? Let's hear what you buy. I'm pretty frugal. I have to be. At most, I buy pens, journals, planners. Any games? Anything fun? I wish. Saving up, remember? I'll never have enough money if I spend it on whatever I want. I guess. Even if I had games, I doubt I'd have the time to play all that many of them. Some of the short ones are pretty good. I don't even know where to start. I haven't played any games in years, I don't think. Suddenly, Aaron's eyes glisten with what I assume is determination. You know what, Valerie? I'm going to change that. What? And how do you plan to do that? I'll bring you a few games within the next few times we meet. Don't worry, they'll be short. 3 hours tops each. I'm going to try super hard to pick ones that you might like, so promise me you'll play at least 1, okay? Oh man, you're going to love them! Amused, I begin to chuckle. Didn't I say I was busy? You're giving me homework? Now, remember what Mr. Blake always used to say? Mr. Blake was the only 10th grade English teacher we had at our high school, and everyone knew he was only a teacher because he liked hearing himself talk. I smirk at the memory of him. He said a lot of things, but I was never paying much attention. Bad, Valerie! Come on, I'm hard pressed to believe you did. You never even liked English, regardless of the teacher. Anyway, he'd always point towards the busy work he'd assigned us and tell us, "This is all for you, children. In 5 years, you return to me and bow before my feet about how guys would never have survived college without my preparing you in advance." Jesus Christ, it's a long-ass sentence. The words themselves were mundane, but Aaron mimics Mr. Blake's pompous, grating voice so accurately that my laughter only grows. Okay, and? And that's exactly what I'd like to say about the games! That I'm going to bow before you in gratitude once I've played them? Pretty much. Emulating Mr. Blake is only hurting your cause. What happened to respecting your elders? You're not Mr. Blake, and you're younger than me, Aaron. If anyone should be respectful, it's you towards me. She got you there. Will you play my games if I pretend to worship you? Normally I'd give another firm rejection, but something about the watery puppy dog eyes that Aaron is giving me makes me cave in. I'm going to regret this, but... You know what? I'll play your games no matter what you say or do. He doesn't need to know that I'll just be skipping class to make enough time to play his games. Just make sure to pick some good ones, alright? Of course! Just believe in me! If I say one good thing about myself is that I have great taste in games. Different people have different tastes, Aaron. And I'm great at gouging other people's tastes, too! Sure. Promise me they'll be super short. Don't worry, 3 hours tops, even if you absolutely suck at it. He hesitates for a second before glancing at me out of the corner of his eyes. Maybe closer to 6 hours. 4. 5? 5 hours. That's a good limit, right? I open my mouth to retort, but he blinks at me with a pleading look, and I roll my eyes, giving in yet again. Okay, fine. 5. But not a second longer, or I'll just stop playing it immediately. Got it, Val. Well, it's time to get you hooked on games. I'm kind of excited. Do you want to give me some before I leave? That's tempting, but nah. I'm going to think super carefully first to make sure you'll like what I suggest to you. Don't get my hopes up too high now. Why are you so eager to make me play games anyway? You're like a blank slate for games. I want to see the look on your face when you realize just how beautiful, how vast of a life you've been missing out on. I let out a snort of laughter at his dramatic speech. Dream on. You don't need to call me that. You don't need to tell me that. Trust me, I will. For a brief moment, I find myself comparing Aaron's obsession with games with my determination to find my soulmate. But I shake my head and force away the thought as quickly as it appeared. Games are fleeting, immaterial. Soulmates are everything. The basis for a true... Ugh, I can read. The basis for a truly blissful, enriched life. It's silly to compare the two like they're the same thing when they're so clearly not. Isn't it? As soon as we exit the building, Aaron begins to guffaw maniacally, and it's infectious, so I begin to do the same. Luke groans at us, his eyebrows quirked, but even his lips are curved up into a proud, relieved smile. Great job, team! You guys are the best! The classroom looks awestruck, I'm telling you! Actually, the class looked bored out of their minds, or the few people who were listening did. Okay, true, but it's a general's class. The more bored the class looks during a presentation, the better you've done. But the professor looked awestruck. Absolutely awestruck, I'm telling you. His jaw almost dropped to the floor at the end. When Val, you were discussing... Yes, Aaron, we know. We were kind of there with you. And you, Luke, you're a perfection personified, I swear. You're so quiet and calm that I never knew you had it in you, but now... Now, I think you have the chops to be the next president of the United States of America. You're so good with rhetorics that you could evade the questions for 5 hours while simultaneously convincing everyone in the audience that you're a mega genius with the answers to all the possible questions in the world. Which is more than you need to become a president these days. It doesn't help that you also know exactly what you're talking about, too. Seriously, have you considered running? You'd totally win. Luke seems slightly bemused at Aaron's passionate declaration of his political skills, and he smiles with hesitation. I'm not interested, but thanks for the vote of confidence. No problem. Look, I'm just being honest. I'll totally vote for you if you do end up running for something, okay? I have faith in your public speaking skills. Luke looks torn between laughter and confusion, and he finally decides on the former. Thanks, I think. I grin at them, giggling to myself. You're so excited about this, Aaron. How could I not be? This was worth 60% of our grade, and there's no way we got anything less than 100%. Honestly, if we don't get a perfect score, I think we even have grounds to report the professor for unfair grading. I think that's pushing it. We don't know our grade yet. I think we should wait before we celebrate. Although I do agree that it's unlikely we got below an A. Thanks for all the help, Aaron. We couldn't have pulled it off without you and your science knowledge. Yes, I was very impressed by all you knew. Although I couldn't understand you half the time you were speaking, I can't say I disliked having practically a walking, talking encyclopedia next to us for the presentation. Aaron straightens his back and beams at Luke's words. I'm not surprised. Aaron has clearly grown to value Luke's opinion, and the latter doesn't dish out compliments often. Oh, right, Val! I brought you some of the games I promised. All of them are fairly short, and I really think you'll like them. At least, I brought games of enough variety that you've got to like at least one of them. I thought you were going to be selective. I was, and I did! I did bring my entire collection, and that's enough of a feat on its own. Do you know how hard it was to choose 12 games out of hundreds? A measly 12? I can only shake my head slowly in both amazement and exasperation. Hundreds? I hope to God you're exaggerating. He fumbles through his backpack, then takes out a plastic bag filled with CDs and such. Here you go, all 12. A handful of them are for PS3, and they have terrible art, but I promise they're worth it. Most of them are fairly new, though. PS4 and Xbox mostly. Wait, What? Oh no! I'm so sorry I didn't clarify! I figured you'd know. I don't have any of those consoles. I just have my laptop and my phone. Aaron hesitates, his face going paper white. Oh! I'm so sorry. I thought everyone... He regards me with a look of such sympathy that I wonder if I just had told him my non-existent cat died or something. A bubble of laughter wells up inside me, and it takes a great deal of effort not to let it loose. This Aaron. How stupid of me! I knew from the beginning that you haven't played any games, so I should have known. It's fine, Aaron. No big deal. If it makes it any better, I'll leave these games on the couch in my living room. I'm sure nobody would mind. I can't help but hesitate slightly, despite my earlier promise of trying the games he recommended. Playing them at home here and there when I have a few spare minutes is different from setting aside a few hours to head to his home just to play his games. Plus, I've been hoping to cover more shifts at work so I can make more money instead. I really need to pick up the pace at which my bank account is growing if I want to realize my dreams of traveling the world. Should I agree to going to his house to play his games? Well, might as well if it makes him happy. I did really already agree beforehand, so it would be awful of me if I tried to go back on my word. It's not as though he's asking a lot from me. I could tell this means a lot to him. It'd only be a few hours. I could spare the time. Somehow. With a sigh, I nod. Aaron immediately lights up at my response. Really? Yeah, I'll try to find the time. I'm not sure when, but it'll happen. I promise. Yes! Thank you, Val! You're the best! The practically blissful smile on Aaron's face erases any lingering doubts. He's really easy to please, isn't he? So happy over such a small thing. I'm glad I agreed. Whenever you decide to come over, there's a spare key beneath the welcome mat. That way you don't need to text me to make sure someone's home to let you in first. Wow, talk about trusting. I figure if you aren't already obsessed with games, there's nothing at my place worth stealing. I could steal them to sell them online or something, you know. The look of horror slowly dawning on his face elicits a giggle from me. You would never! I trust you! Don't betray me, Val! Still chuckling, I hurried to reassure him so that he would stop looking at me as though I had just revealed that I'm a student by day and a serial killer by night. Hehehe. I won't. Still, you should probably be more careful. Has nobody stolen the key yet? Really obvious location, I know, but it's worked so far. Don't fix what's... Don't fit... Apparently that's a little hard word for me to say right now. Don't fix what isn't broken, right? And our house isn't broken into, so it's fine. Have you heard of taking precautions? Hey, it was my brother's idea, not mine. Blame him. Anyway, drop by whenever you have time to play games. Ask anyone for help setting things up if you need. We'll be happy to have you. Yeah, thanks. Suddenly, I remember that Luke has been standing beside us the whole time, and I feel bad that we've been excluding him. When I turn my head to look at him, I am surprised by the mildly amused expression on his face. Before I could say or do anything else, he moves closer, taps me on the shoulder, and whispers a few curt words. Broken string. Not a bad choice. Bye. I freeze, then begin to blink rapidly in confusion. But by the time I could think up even the flimsiest of responses, Luke has already bid Aaron goodbye, turned the corner, and disappeared. What was that? Nothing, I think. Given that Luke was clearly talking about Aaron's red string, I wouldn't tell him that what Luke whispered even if I did understand. But I don't. He couldn't have been referring to Aaron as a romantic prospect for me. No, impossible. Not only am I not interested in Aaron, but also more importantly, my soulmate is somewhere out there, waiting for me, even if he doesn't know it just yet. I can't possibly... I know this pain full well, and Luke must too. So why did Luke say that broken strings weren't a bad choice? What in the world did he mean by that? As I continue making small talk with Aaron, I wonder if I even want to know the answer to those questions. Aqua Sarah. Sarah. I don't know why I keep saying Sarah for some reason. Looking down at the author of the next few books I need to shelf, I groan. I have to walk all the way back to the first shelf? I'm way too lazy for this job. Regardless, I began trudging along all the way down to the other end of the hallway when a familiar head with dual-colored hair catches my vision. Aaron. His head bobs slightly up and down, left and right, and I notice the black earbuds lodge into his ears. Is he swaying to the music? I can't help but titter. I shove the books as quickly as I can, then approach him slowly, quietly, like a cat stalking its prey. When I'm finally right behind him, I bend my knee so I'm close to his ears and... blow. Whew. To my surprise, Aaron reacts even more severely than I dared hoped. He jolts up in shock, his hands foaming in the air, and a restrained yelp escapes his mouth. Yeep! Ah! I can't help but crack up, but at the same time, I feel a small pang of guilt, and my jaw drops as the tears of laughter fall from my eyes. Sorry, I didn't think. I didn't think. Val, you almost gave me a heart attack. Sorry, I didn't mean that. I thought you'd only be a little surprised. It was supposed to be an immature little prank, not an assassination by a cardiac arrest. He fumbles to shift into a makeshift calm, poised position before giving me a feigned glare. I hope you don't think I'm going to let you off scot-free. Oh? Are you going to prank me back? I'll have you know I'm nowhere near as jumpy as you are. Nor as unobservant. How did you not notice me walking up to you? I was just focused on the music, that's all. What were you listening to, anyway? Guess. I'm curious what you think my tastes are. I shrug, unsure. Something to do with games, probably, but I don't know enough about it to make any educated guesses. I decide to throw a music genre out at random. Something outrageous. Something that absolutely can't be right. Heavy metal. But what? I mean, yes, I am sort of tough, manly man who listened to heavy metal. Screamo! Fuck Screamo. He puffs out his chest, but there's a humorous glint in his eyes. Within a second, we're both laughing. Yeah, what were you really listening to? I figure it has something to do with games, but it's not like game characters are singers. OSTs, of course! What? Original soundtracks? Like the background music? I like OSTs, they're pretty enjoyable. I gesture towards the pile of books before him after a moment of hesitation. Oh, because you're reading. I listen to classical music too, when I'm studying sometimes. That too, but I listen to them when I'm not even doing that. Oh, excuse me. That too, but I listen to them even when I'm not doing anything in particular. Huh? Why? Aaron shrugs. I like them. Snorting, I shake my head. Why am I not surprised? Anyhow, how are you? Other than proud of scaring my heart out, that is. Well, not necessarily proud. Just giddy? Well... How are you, Aaron? You're changing the subject. I'm fine. Question answered. Now how are you? I'm fine too. What are you reading? Boring books. Just a handful of lame stuff from my World Lit class. I needed it for a diversity credit, but it's also covering English credit. So I guess I have nothing to complain about. I can only pull a sympathetic face, knowing full well how it feels. Sounds fun. Well, I'm sure your professor picked them for good reasons. Maybe you'll enjoy them more than you think. Fiction? I doubt it. There's no way you hate fiction in general. I don't hate it, I just don't like it either. You hate reading? I think that qualifies as a crime against humanity. Yeah, if you remember from Val and Luke's route, Val was very much into reading, just didn't really have the time. You're not wrong, but I never said that. I don't hate reading as a whole, I just hate fiction. You read non-fiction then? I can't help but judge him for his tastes. I try not to show it, but I'm sure it's written all over my face. Kind of, I guess. I read programming books and math books, all that good stuff. Why, I didn't think I could judge him any more than I already did, but apparently I can. He is such a nerd that I can't help but start laughing to myself. What? They're good! just need to give them a shot! And it's not that I dislike stories themselves, it's only that games execute them so much better. Sometimes. Sometimes. Debatable. Yeah, debatable. You read any Porcelain Yearville, Merlin's Summit? It's a miracle what you can do with prose. A picture's worth 1,000 words, right? Think about what animated pictures are worth. I make a small face, not sure quite how to argue against that. Then think about animated pictures with choices, multiple endings, and gameplay. His eyes positively sparkle as he speaks, and despite still not being convinced, I can't bite back a laugh. If you say so, Aaron. I'm sure I can convert you, sooner or later. He trails off and averts his gaze. Although he soon returns to his cheerful self and pretends he thought nothing, I realize what he must be thinking. I have yet to touch any of the games he recommended me. I meant to, but I jumped at the chance to pick up more shifts at the restaurant this week for more money and... well, I completely forgot about the game disc sitting on my desk. My stomach twists in guilt and I speak up quickly, desperate to distract him in my awkwardness. Let's see, maybe I've read some of the books you need to read for the class. Doubt it. I figure anything professors assign has got to be intolerable, even for the most avid of readers. Well, we'll see, won't we? I shuffle through the books, picking up 2 at a time from the sloppy piles on Aaron's desk. He's right on that most of them are unrecognizable and, well, look rather boring. One, however, stands out immediately. I was looking at the same cover minutes ago. Hey, Sarah Aquas! I shelved a different copy of this book just earlier. Ugh, I bet you hate her just because she's one of the reasons you have to work to do. I tap his head with a book. A smack almost, but too soft for him to feel any pain. You mean I should love her? She's one of the reasons I have one of the simplest jobs in the world. The Broke Guest, huh? This is a good book. I remember it used to be one of my favorites as a kid. Oh, well, I'll make sure to read it just for your childhood self, and not Google it a summary like I do for half the remaining books. After seeing the books you have, I can't bring myself to blame you. This lady's British, though. I'm surprised you're reading her for your world lit class. Guess he wanted to remind us we seceded from Britain all those years ago. Years? Talk about an understatement. Aaron leans in closer to me and whispers quietly, almost conspiratorially. He's an old man, this professor. Maybe he was alive during the Revolutionary War and is still vehement with his patriotism. I snort, and so does he. What have you been reading lately? Sparkly vampire romance novels? Oh god, no. Nobody lives to be hundreds of years old. It's only the 21st century. You said it yourself. It's amazing what someone could do with prose. Stevenson Maya is a surprisingly good author. Even better than my games, if I do say so myself. I bonk his head with the book again. If you're going to pretend, at least have the decency to get our name right. I was too focused on the book to read the cover. Don't judge a book by a cover and all that. I stopped bothering to even look years ago. Oh, shush you. I dig through his pile of books some more and almost drop the next book that catches my eye. The author is unfamiliar to me, as is the title, but the design on the cover and the subject matter are both clear and all too familiar. A book about red strings? Ah, that... well... Is this for the same class? The author's name sounds American, but I guess it could be an expat or something. Didn't know that'd still count for World Lit. No, well, that's... I see him flush and look anywhere but into my eyes. I might have picked that book voluntarily. Because of you. My eyes narrow. Because of me? I heard you mumbling about red strings or something or other on one of the snapshot stories of the party we went to. I didn't actually hear what you were saying because the background noise was too loud, but after I listened to the story like 6 or 7 times, I could kind of make out a handful of the words. He chuckles softly, and I bite my lip, worried about how much he heard. What did he even say? Too much? Fortunately, I know for sure Aaron had a blackout. I'm sure he can pretend to have been a bit intoxicated. We speak up simultaneously. Okay, maybe I was a little drunk too. Something something love, something something thanks, something something red strings. Wow, That's not a lot of work to not a lot to work off of, agreed. I never thought you were such an idealist. I'm not. It's not idealism if the strings exist, after all. A romantic, then? Oh, come on. You're the romantic here. You're really reading an entire book about red strings because of a few drunken mumbles from me that you couldn't even understand? Sweet of you, though, really. I wanted to know more about you. You could have just asked me whatever you wanted to know. I'm an open book. Well, the things that won't get me locked up in a mental institution, that is. Close enough. I'll remember that for the future. Still, how was I supposed to just randomly ask you about red strings? Like you said, you were probably just drunk and don't even remember talking about them. Okay, yeah, true, but still. People are most honest when they're drunk, though, you know? If I wanted to get to know you better, the easiest thing would have been to read up on the magical things you mentioned after a shot of vodka or whatever. I'm not sure about that. You were screaming about me being an alien, remember? Was that honesty? I was wrong, not dishonest. I thought I was speaking the truth. Don't worry, Val. I'll keep your romantic our little secret. From who? I don't know. I've always wanted to say that. I rolled my eyes. Just be glad you didn't talk about wanting to seduce sparkly vampires or something. At least red strings are niche enough, and what you said about them were vague and audible enough. I can't hold it against you for the rest of your life. You're too nice to have threatened me over sparkly vampires. Nobody's too nice for that. If you say so. We grin at each other before he averts his eyes, clearing his throat and adopting an... Things sound sweet, though. I try to hide my look of surprise at his sudden declaration. Oh? Soulmates and all that. I like the concept. Again, I swear you're the romantic here. Possibly, but still. Obviously, there would be a lot of logical issues if they existed in the real world. Yeah? Believe me, you have no idea, Aaron. People fall in love multiple times for one, and aside from the half-hearted high school flings and elementary school relationships that barely count, I really don't think any are necessarily greater than others. And what if a soulmate dies? My breath catches in my throat, and Aaron tilts his head, but after a moment of silence from me, he frowns but continues. We can't expect him to stay single forever. That would be unfair. My eyes, once again, darting to the broken thread tied to Aaron's finger. I can't help but fidget with my hands, feeling awkward about this topic. I'm sure they'd find other endeavors that suit them better. Or maybe fall in love with others in the same boat. Still, it just feels so wrong. Unless the whole red strings thing is impermanent and changes as people change, as people die. I don't think that's a common interpretation, though. Probably because that's not a thing that happens. Not like I can say that, though, so all I can do is give a non-committal hum. Aaron gives a sheepish smile as my muted reaction. Sorry, I'm being incredibly morbid. No, don't worry about it. It's not like they really exist anyhow. And maybe the fact that he himself has a broken string is contributing to his thought processes. True enough. Clearing my throat, I can't resist asking a question burning in my mind. Are you glad the red strings, don't exist then? Not glad. Relieved, though? Possibly. I think it'd be really nice if they existed and everyone could find them. Finding your perfect match so quickly and easily. But it'd be a pity. Think of everything we'd miss. So many things, beautiful things that we take for granted, could vanish. I suppose. Sorry, I've just been rambling on without asking for your opinion on this matter. I should learn when to shut up and let people around me get some words in, especially since I'm actually curious. What about you? Do you wish red strings were real? Well, it's not really theoretical for me, but... again, it doesn't really matter. As long as nobody can see them. I think that would be... As long as nobody can see them, I think that would be great. Although... I kind of wonder if it'd be good if nobody could see them. Oh, why do you think that? I like the idea of a guarantee that someone special exists for everyone who wants one. That fate itself is pulling predestined people together. But as you said yourself, it's possible that some of those who see the red string may miss out on some of the greater things in life. On spontaneity. Aaron purses his lips, tilting his head before nodding. Yeah, I think you're right. I'd like that too. As we continue to speak, I see my boss enter this section of the library from the corner of my eye. Oh, crap! I can't believe I let myself get distracted for so long. I'm going to be in so much trouble if she finds out I've been slacking off all this time. Quickly gesturing towards her, I make up some vaguely helpful sounding words and spit them out at Aaron before quickly returning to my car and continuing my job. Aaron isn't slow, thankfully, and he immediately plays along, pretending to be a grateful student. Before he leaves, he winks in my direction, grinning with amusement. I'll see you around, Val! Thanks for the talk today. It was definitely enlightening. I watched him leave, my gaze once again drifting to his little finger. Yes, it was enlightening, indeed. I didn't expect to take Aaron up on his offer, but here I am now, lounging on his couch playing the shortest game he suggested, when he's not even here. Sighing, I think about how I had a rare 2 hours of free time to take a breather today, thanks to a class that was cancelled because the teacher fell ill, and what do I do with it? Wander around in a bleak post-apocalyptic barren land in this game that I've never heard of before today instead of getting some much-needed rest. Still, I'm actually enjoying this game a lot right now. I can't say I regret it, though I'm sure I will tomorrow when I head to work tired and shuffling like a zombie. I cringe at the thought of being scolded by my boss again. Oh well, as long as he doesn't dock my pay, it's fine. It's worth it. The memory of Aaron's downcast eyes every time he subtly asks about the games he recommended me, and realizes I have yet to try them, flashes across my mind, and I feel the familiar pang of guilt. Well, I guess I'll make it up to him by faithfully playing every single one of the games he gave me. Somehow. If I stop getting lost on this outrageously huge map. I continue mashing the buttons left and right to demolish the monsters before me, pursing my lips in concentration. Take that! I beam in self-satisfaction as the monster in front of me explodes into a shower of experience and items, my character emitting a sharp beam of light as I level up. Honestly, this is strangely therapeutic. I'm starting to understand why Aaron adores his games so much. Yeah, they can be enjoyable, but also frustrating at times too. Anyone play Cuphead? Sheesh. By the time Aaron arrives, I'm almost too immersed in the game to notice him. There's a metallic scratch and a click as the door unlocks, followed by a creak. I ignore the sounds, my eyes glued to the screen as the mobs double in count. Ellen, is that my game you're playing? If you mess up my savings again, I'm going to kill... Val! You're not Ellen, you're Val! I'm tempted to look at him, as I'm certain there will be an amusingly stunned expression on his face, but I don't dare take my eyes off the screen for even a second. Oh, does Val not know a pause button? Hey, Aaron. Nope, it's only me. Sorry to disappoint you. No, I'm not disappointed at all. I'm happy you're here. I almost thought you'd forgotten my offer. The delight in his voice is palpable. Can I ever say that word right? The delight in his voice is adorable. Let's go with that. And it brings a smile to my face. Of course not. Sorry, just been busy. My responses are curt and direct, but Aaron seems to understand that I can't afford to slow down to think of proper replies. Unless I die while I take a break to converse. Right, I understand. I can feel the seat sink next to me as he plops down next to me on the couch to watch. I glance at him for perhaps a nanosecond and immediately see a broad grin that twitches as he tries to control it, unsuccessfully. So who's L? A flash of bright light mobilizes my character. Then a barrage of attacks lower my HP to half in an instant. What? No! Why can't I move? That's cheating! Stop it! You little goblin dwarf with pointy ears! I don't even know what you're doing, but stop it! Stop it! Stop it! He chuckles to himself as I continue screaming at the mini-boss and mashing the buttons haphazardly. I'd glare at him, but I can't let Aaron distract me right now. I'm sure my poor character will die if I so much as blink. She's already at 15 HP for the latest assault, and her back is stooped, her hands clutching at her stomach, her skin glowing red. That last bit was a strange decision on the developer's part since my character is human, but it's making me ridiculously antsy, and I guess that was their goal. Val? Hey, Val! Please don't distract me. I'm kind of dying here. Exactly! Want me to help with that? I've had a lot more practice with it, so I'm sure I could try to pull something off. No, thank you. I'd rather do this on my... The mini-boss uses some sort of long-range attack. Although I managed to dodge by a hair, it still docks a good chunk of my health. I'm about to groan when I realize... Shoot! When was the last time I saved? An hour ago? An hour and a half? That's about when I started this stupid game. Okay, nope. I'm definitely not losing this battle. I'm going to lose an insane amount of progress if I end up having to continue from my last save. Ugh. I do this so often. I always forget to save and then it's like, oh, 5 hours of progress lost. No! And it sucks when it happens. It always sucks. You know what? On second thought, a little help, please. Not that I think he could really do anything to turn the tides. With my pathetic remaining amount of HP, the battle is as good as over, but I refuse to give up, and the negligible chance at a victory is better than none. Aaron chuckles, the sound full of amusement. I thought you said you wanted to finish it by yourself. That was then. This is now. Save me! Oh? I don't need to look at him to know he's eyeing me with both suspicion and amusement. Barely holding back a squeal as I run circles around the mini-boss to avoid his attacks, the explanation rushes out of my mouth. I just remembered I've forgotten to save, okay? I haven't been able to find save points since the tutorial. I absolutely cannot die right now! Oh, so you have something at stake. Laughter fills his voice and I can almost visualize the humorous glint in his eyes. Buy me a pizza for it later. What? No, you already ate too much, and a pizza is expensive. What kind of pizza do you buy to say that it's expensive? Jesus. Buy a cheap-ass one. You're the one who offered to help in the first place. That was before you told me you had to start over if you died. You had to bribe me with something. During our conversation, my character has only continued to weaken. She'll die in one more blow, too, if I'm being optimistic. Fine, you win. Pizza it is, or pasta, or anything. Help! Please! It's fast! My lips suck in, and I continue to spin the buttons at random as I wait for his help. Ahem, the controller? Right, the controller. He needs it. Only now do I realize Aaron has been holding his hand out for probably a good minute now. Am I nervous regarding the battle sequence? I completely lost my train of thought. But I can't let go. I'll die. I have to keep running from the ogre thing. I have to. Not for the 3 seconds it takes to exchange controllers. You saw what happened in the 3 seconds it took to talk to you, and my eyes were still on the screen. Alright. How did you want me to help then? I don't know, but I really do want your help. Don't smack me for this, okay? I'm just trying to help you like you requested. Smack you for what? Suddenly, Aaron's left arm comes around my back and his hands brush against mine as he grasps the controller and begins to mash the buttons. And with that we get a nice little image. What? Heat begins to rise in my cheeks and all thoughts of the game have fled my mind. I'm now too busy staring at his hands resting on mine, covering mine in an almost intimate manner. We can clear this together. I hesitate before I lift myself slightly and set myself back down closer to him so that he doesn't need to reach as much to mash with my controls. Aw, how romantic. Excuse me. All this time, even despite my movements and the awkward stretch of his arms around me, Aaron has been letting my character evade the enemy's attack perfectly. His fingers move so quickly that I can barely see which buttons he presses and when. But it works, whatever he's doing. I see flashes of light, combos maneuvered at incredible speeds. The foe's health bar slowly goes down, down, down. My own remains at the constant 3%, which is low, but Aaron can't be blamed for it. My mouth half opens in some sort of excited horror as Aaron continues to control my player character. Even just watching, I feel a nervous tension. My hands clam up, sweating endlessly. They'd probably slip off the controller if not for Aaron's grip. Ooh, did we beat the game? I don't know if the sudden jingle or the congratulatory fireworks exploding on the screen stuns me more, but I find myself gapping at the screen, almost inaudible to comprehend the change in events. You won! I can't believe it! The enemy... But I was at 3%. Excuse me. Something seems to be wrong with my throat right now. I peek at Aaron out of the corner of my eye, suddenly seeing him in a new appreciative light. How did he do that? It's entirely not fair that he's good at everything he does, apparently. Even, well, more like especially gaming. I hear Eren exhale out his nervousness, all the tension he accrued from trying to win the battle for my sake. He lets a silent, airy chuckle, clearly surprised at himself as well. He erupts into a cheer. Look at that! We did it! We? It was all you, more like. Look down at the controller, Val. Who's been pressing the buttons half the time? Whose hands are touching the controller directly right now? You don't need to be coy like that, you know. Coy? How am I being coy? I don't respond, and Eren repeats his statement from earlier, as though he doesn't think I heard him the first time. We did it, Val! We did it! You're great at this for a beginner, you know. The genuine admiration in his eyes convinces me that he honestly believes the victory belongs to the both of us. Even though I still disagree, I find myself ducking my head, feeling oddly pleased at his praise. Yeah. Thanks for helping me, I guess. I won't need to waste another hour, so I'll try and get back to where I died. Now I just need to find a save point. Can't risk this happening again. If I remember correctly, there should be one right in the closet in the room outside. In the closet? Who the hell ever checks the closets? No wonder I haven't been able to find any save points all this time. Eren chuckles, no doubt, envisioning me running around like a headless chicken, seeking a spot to save my progress. Question the developers, not me. I had nothing to do with their horrid ideas. I can feel Eren shrug, giving my proximity to him. Oh, I'm still practically sitting on his lap, his arms wrapped around me from behind. Immediately, I rise to my feet, turning my head to prevent him from seeing the heat rushing to my cheeks. Hey, you're too close. Then I remember. I was the one who snuggled closer to him, myself, amidst all my paranoia about my character's death. My cheeks grow hotter, if that's even possible at this point. Sorry, Val. I did tell you not to smack me for it. Oh no, I don't remember if you agreed to it before I jumped the gun. I plopped back down on the couch, a safe distance from him now, looking anywhere but at him. It's fine. Your character's still alive. That's a plus, right? My cheeks still burning. I force myself to sound casual. No, seriously, it's fine. I was surprised, that's all. And I'm massively overacting. I've never been in any serious relationships. The lack of a soulmate in my proximity saw to that. But that doesn't mean I've never been hugged or, hell, even kissed before. But I don't know why I'm acting so flustered when there wasn't even anything romantic to what was transpired between us. I take a deep breath, shake my head, and make myself grin. When I make a joke out of the situation to diffuse the awkwardness I've caused, I do mean it, almost. You know, if you really wanted to hug me that much, you could have just asked. What? Eren stumbles on his own words in surprise before he smiles to himself, perhaps relieved that I found humor in our prior closeness. Hey, you were the one who hopped into... This time it's Eren who blush darkens, and I giggle. You put your arms around me first. For the game! Are you sure about that? Nothing Freudian about going on? Christ, Val! I feign a sigh and cluck my tongue at him. Christ yourself! You need Jesus to help you after the way you took advantage of a poor, innocent girl and need to wrap your arms around her? My words almost make no sense, and I'm glad Eren is too flustered to think about everything I'm saying thoroughly. What in the world? That's what I should be saying to you! Sure. Now let me finish this game, alright? I'll try not to freak out too much this time if I'm on the verge of losing, and hand you the controller like a calm, composed human being. Eren snorts, and when he replies, the humor in his voice tells me he's kidding. Pity. Despite myself, I'm disappointed he's not sulking about it instead. What in the world? Why do I care if he wants to embrace me or not? I bite my lip and shake my head at the thought. Definitely a pity. You were amazing at helping. I can't believe you defeated the thing so easily when you didn't even have full control over the controller. I can't have been comfortable playing from behind me. That was no problem at all. I've just played the game. A lot. Way more times than I should have. Just this one? Or all the ones you've recommended to me? Well, that's all the ones I have. I can't help but laugh at his sheepish look on his face. It's kind of endearing, his love for video games. I almost want to watch him play, just to see the excited bright glint in his eyes whenever he's indulging in his favorite hobby. You have a lot of games, though. How did you make time for that? I'm just going to pretend that it's part of preparing for my future job. Yeah, sure, that's right. Gotta know all the release games like the back of your hand if you want to make good ones yourself. I give him a dubious side glance, and he grins sheepishly. Well, I suppose that's true. Even if it weren't, I don't know enough about game development to argue with him on that. Aaron seems to be able to guess my train of thought, and the sheepish smile grows. I was just making that up. I just play these games for fun. I don't know. I feel like games are almost like an extension for me, whether I'm making them or playing them. This probably makes me sound way too obsessed for my own good. No, not at all. I think it's impressive, really, that you're so passionate about something you hope to make a career out of. It almost makes me wonder if you have any passions myself. If I have any passions myself. Anything I can wholly dedicate myself to. I mean, I love reading and writing. I wouldn't be a journalism if I didn't, but... Aaron's cheeks turn pink and he laughs at nothing in particular, probably to distract me from his shy embarrassment. Thanks for not finding me lame. What about you? What are you, passionate about? It's like he read what I was just thinking. I forced a smile and shrug, not knowing how to respond. Besides reading and writing, which I wouldn't necessarily call my passions, there are the red strings of fate, yeah, and the pursuit of my soulmate. But that's a temporary endeavor, and does it even count for anything? Do you really have no passions? Nothing I want to dedicate myself to? My priorities may be skewed. It's possible my priorities are a little skewed. Yes, my soulmate must be somewhere out there waiting for me, and as long as he is, I will find him. But in the pursuit of him, I've made so many sacrifices? Can I call them sacrifices? I've had no time for myself, found no activity I love, left no more than partial, half-hearted glances at the guys who've shown interest in me, the guys I may have crushed on in my youth, had I let myself. And I hate to admit it, but all I've shaped myself to be is a preparation for the travel abroad. Not even for fun or leisure, but for a certain duty. The duty to find my soulmate. I feel no shame in the wish, and I'm proud I've worked so hard. I'm excited to find him. I really am. But even so, my chest tightens as I think about what could have been, had it not been for my ability to see the red strings. I almost refer to the what-if scenarios. Almost. It kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the red strings with Aaron. How he mentions like, hey, we fall in love again, and what if the red string, well, the person at the end of the string dies, what do we do then? What if we're missing out on stuff, and, you know, stuff like that. So, Val seems to be judging that. Assuming you chose that answer, of course. The answers are a little bit different depending what you choose. Hopefully, this is only a case of grass looking greener on the other side when it's really not. Well, maybe you can make video games your passion too. I bark out a laugh, grateful for the distraction Aaron unknowingly provided. I think I'm too bad at video games to consider gaming my passion. You saw how helpless I was earlier. You just need practice. Honestly, you're a natural at this. You'll surpass my skill in no time. I can't help but smile at the flattery, no matter how untrue. Aaron really is a sweetheart, always so kind, quick to make people smile and feel at ease. Aw, that's really high praise coming from you. Thank you. I guess I'll resume the game and get some practice in then. Aaron beams, puffing out his chest and pointing at himself. If you need me to teach you anything, just say the word. I'll be right over here waiting to guide you. Amused at his antics, I let out a small giggle. Thanks. I'll try not to resort to begging you for help again, but no promises. And I'll try to save more often so I don't need to care so much about dying. See? You're already learning. If you want, I can tell you where the save points are before boss battles at least. I'd appreciate that, thanks. You can clear this, Val. I believe in you. I chuckled the excitement in his voice. As you should. Alright, and I believe that's a good stopping point. Quite a few interesting interesting things have happened this episode. But until next time, I am Tara the Fox, you are the viewer, and I hope to see you next time.